Dr. Manish Saxena, as I have mentioned, he's an active VR surgeon in Kanpur, and he has an experience of almost a decade of active VR surgery. And I would like him to present his slides. So basically, what we want that he would give us general takeaways, which are clinical takeaways for our general ophthalmology friends. Over to you, Dr. Manish. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you
Great.
very much.
Great. Go ahead.
So my slides visible, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Malay sir, and thank you, Abhijat. It was really a nice and a summarization of all the work what we have done so far in last 3 years. So I'll just summarize the things. Basically, it's repetitions of learning. What we want to teach all the general ophthalmologists ki how to identify the clinical signs of diabetic retinopathy. So my this presentation is all about learning clinical signs to diagnose vision-threatening diabetic retinopathy. So I still remember when Malay sir actually introduced this concept, and this picture actually tells us about the concept of the principle of this IC is this project. What exactly we are doing with this IC. So this is it was like in May 2018 he said one AI is coming and that will screen the diabetic retinopathy. So just to simplify screen a diabetic retinopathy, why we need a machine costing 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs? And that was the time when the struggle, that fight between the humans and AI started. And this picture depicts everything according to. So let us see where the problems are. So most of us in diabetic retinopathy, we follow the ETDRS classification. This ETDRS classification is the proliferative and non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy. So there are so many like mild, moderate, severe, very severe, early PDR, high risk PDR. So there are so much to learn, so much to diagnose for these cases. But if you just see, from treatment point of view, mild, moderate, severe generally just need a observation. They don't need to get a screen. They don't need to not screen. They just don't need any treatment. So they can be kept on regular observations. But the other segment, which is very severe, we have very severe NPDR, early PDR, and high risk PDR. These are the cases along with the macular edema. These are the cases which are actually important. So we came to the concept, we followed the concept of vision threatening. So the earlier segment is a non-vision threatening diabetic retinopathy. The other important part is a vision threatening diabetic retinopathy. So what we have to learn is a vision threatening, and we just delete the non-vision threatening part, how the AI is working. Okay. So this presentation is all about learning this vision-threatening diabetic retinopathy. So diabetic retinopathy, it's a so before we move, we should learn what is exactly the normal fundus. So normal fundus contain optic disc, central in having the macula and the vessels. So this is the normal disc, but I'm not talking about the mild, moderate, severe, or any other symptoms. I'm just focusing on the vision-threatening diabetic retinopathy and coming directly to the very severe NPDR. So how we define very severe NPDR? If we are seeing intraretinal hemorrhages in all the 4 quadrants, or we are seeing venous bleeding in 2 quadrants, or irmas in any 1 quadrant. What are these 3 structures? So hemorrhages, actually, if we see in diabetic retinopathy, there are multiple types of hemorrhage, and that gives confusion. There are multiple slides which patients were not able to answer because they were hemorrhage, but they were not sure whether to treat or not. So I'll just simplify this hemorrhage part. We have to focus on the intraretinal hemorrhages. These intraretinal hemorrhages are occurring in the deeper layer of the retina. Yeah. So what happening? These are tightly spaced retinal layer. These hemorrhage can occur due to rupture of the microorganism, dot and blot hemorrhage. So they are like coin shape or irregularly round shaped hemorrhages, which can be seen in this picture. Apart from this, we see a superficial hemorrhage in lots of diabetic patients. These superficial hemorrhages are occurring in the nerve fiber layer, and these hemorrhages tends to get settled along the nerve fiber layer. So that is where the shape comes, which is kind of a flame shaped or splinter shaped superficial hemorrhage. So in very severe NPDR, intraretinal hemorrhages are more important as compared to superficial hemorrhage. So that we need to focus on first. Second feature of very severe NPDR is the venous bleeding in any of the two quadrants. So this venous bleeding can be easily make out on clinical finding. Third important structures are the IRMAs in one quadrant. So what are these? What is this IRMA? IRMA is intraretinal microvascular abnormalities. So basically, these are the neovascularization which is occurring inside the layers of the retina, not over the surface. When it occurs over the surface, then we call NVD or NVE, and which tend to which are very fragile and gives hemorrhages. These IRMAs, they are not that much fragile and occurring in the deeper layer of the retina. But these are important because these indicate that patients are very soon it's going to convert into proliferative diabetic retinopathy and needs to treat as early as possible. So to say patient is a case of very severe NPDR, we should have at least two of this, either IRMA in one quadrant, venous bleeding in two quadrant, or intraretinal hemorrhage in all four quadrants. If any two of these are present, then patient is having very severe NPDR. So once this phase is over, the proliferative phase comes. Proliferative phase when we start seeing neovascularizations over the surface of the retina. So neovascularizations are easy to diagnose when we have to classify, we have to differentiate whether it's NVD or NVE, but it doesn't matter whether it's NVD or NVE. Both needs treatment. So any neovascularizations over the disc or over the 1/3 of area of the disc is called NVD, and beyond that it is called NVE. So these are the tuft of vessels arising from the over the surface of the retina. So again, these are the neovascularizations we can see. Now come to when these neovascularizations or the NVE or NVD ruptures, what happens if, suppose this bleeding is happening in a subhyaloid space, which is a space between the posterior hyaloid and a retina. So most of the time these kind of hemorrhages give a shape of subhyaloid space, which is a boat shape. So these are called pre-retinal hemorrhage. So mostly it's a boat shape, but it can be irregular, like seeing in this picture. So this is simply explain that patients are having neovascularization which are getting ruptured, and patients are having this pre-retinal hemorrhage and need immediate treatment. Similarly, when this hemorrhage tickles into the vitreous cavity, then this vitreous hemorrhage, this is called vitreous hemorrhage, which when this vitreous hemorrhage comes, we may not be able to see the retina, and it's easily to diagnose. There is nothing we have to learn. So once patients are having neovascularization of the over the surface of the retina, later on this neovascularization keeps becoming fibrous. More and more fibrous tissue keeps coming, and when it becomes more fibrous, then they try to pull the retina, and then only the patient starts developing these retinal detachment. So if there is just a pulling, there are no break, then it is called tractional or TRD. Or when due to more traction there are any break at the base of the that detachment, then it is called combined retinal detachment. So far we have learned very severe NPDR. Very severe NPDR is simply we have to focus on the intraretinal hemorrhage, not on the superficial hemorrhage. Second, venous bleeding in two quadrant. And third, IRMAs in one quadrant. IRMAs are easily diagnosed structures. And after that, proliferative, I guess proliferative diabetic retinopathy are easy to diagnose. If we have learned these two, the other simple thing which we need to focus is the macular edema. So again, ETDRS classification has given so many definition of defining macular edema and saying that it is clinically significant. So here to simplify that clinically significant macular edema, we just say you decide whether macular is involving center or near center, or it's not involving center. So whenever the macular edema is involving center, that is the vision threatening. And if it is not, it's non-center macular edema, it's not significant macular edema. So take-home message is very simple. We have to focus on these very severe PDR and macular edema. And the important take-home message is AI can screen these patients, but the human touch, the attachment to the patients and the care we can give to the patient cannot be done by AI. So that is why we need to be very much vigilant. These simple steps can learn us. We will not be dependent on AI to diagnose diabetic retinopathy. That's what we all want. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manish. It was a fantastic presentation, and you have simplified it in such a way that it was really very easy to understand. So basically what you were mentioning, that we should take our point of reference as VTDR, means four quadrants of superficial hemorrhage, bleeding in 2 quadrants, that's IRMA in 1 quadrant, NVE, PDR and the PDR features, and macular edema involving center or not involving center. So we have been, as we have already mentioned, that we have been working on this project right from 2018. And I have shown you such a nice photograph of CME with a difference in Kanpur, which we did when Dr. Lalit Verma came. And he asked us, Dr. Malay, what is the difference? And I said, here we are actually targeting to empower regional ophthalmologists, and he was very happy. He is running a simultaneous session elsewhere in another hall, but he has actually said that I'll come and join in. He has joined it. Lalit Verma sir, are you listening to us?
Yeah.
Please.
Hi, sir.
For having me here, and I'm so thrilled to be participating also for small time. I remember, a couple of years back, I don't know the year, but I was in Kanpur and listened to you and your entire team. I remember Mohit, Abhishek, Manish lecturing there. And I liked the session so much that instead of anybody else asking me, I approached Malay after the session over, food. Then I requested Malay and all the speakers that why don't you help me? At that time, I was chairman of the scientific committee. So why don't you help me do the same session without any change in AIUS? So he said he would love to do it. And believe me, since that time, he has done this session for a couple of years. And I'm so happy. The reason why I requested is because the topic was DR for the Go in General Ophthalmologist. And in diabetic retinopathy, whatever you do, whatever retinologists may keep doing, whatever, cameras, injections, but if it is confined to retinologists, believe me, it's not going to make dent at all. In AIUS, a lot of presidents have started DR control program, right? I can name also Kuresh Maskati, NSD Raju, everybody is into diabetic retinopathy, but no dent actually. At a national level, no dent has been made. So I was not very happy that, you see, because the knowledge is confined primarily to retinologists. Dudani is listening here, Professor Dudani, I can see here. So I requested Malay to please come to AIUS. So he was gracious enough. He did this session, DR for the Go. Because in AIUS, majority of the ophthalmologists out of 26,000 we have, they are Go, general ophthalmologists. If you don't take help of general ophthalmologists in screening of diabetic retinopathy or in educating those people or making aware, like Manish just now was talking about which are the patients which are to be referred, and you see how do you classify this patient. So best would be, Malay, to prepare one chart where you have photographs of all the stages, what Manish has very nicely shown, photographs. So for a common ophthalmologist, what I would suggest is those who have fundus camera, एक picture लिया, उसमें देखा, भाई ये very severe है, so refer it to this thing. So at least this much contribution Go can do, and this is the onus of this, the Malay and his team, that you have to penetrate to general ophthalmologists. And how do you penetrate apart from doing sessions here and there is to have one chart prepared which should be hung on the clinics of every general ophthalmologist so that they can see and compare. Even if they do ophthalmoscopy, they will know, and then they can refer. So I'm very happy for the entire team who's working primarily for general ophthalmologists. आम आदमी के लिए काम कर रहा है. And this is what is required because diabetic retinopathy concerns all of us, everybody. In fact, the prevalence of diabetic retinopathy has increased now thanks to Pizza Hut and burgers and all these things. Obesity has increased. Type 2 diabetic retinopathy has increased so much, and hence the job of us, that is to make people aware. Then only people will refer us. Then only Dudani will give injections, and then only we will try to decrease the blindness, because that is the concern Malay told. We want to prevent unnecessary blindness in diabetic retinopathy. So thank you, Malay, for conceiving this program, and please don't lose the momentum. Please carry on till you achieve something with it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Lalit. Thanks. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I think Dr. Ajay, would you like to say something to Lalit sir?
No, I would like to say, really, I think he's brought out the point because he's the incoming president now. And I think we need to take this on a war footing, And even in a city like Mumbai, I have seen that, many of our general ophthalmologists even have an OCT, but they are missing these cases, like everybody is giving injections in a city like Mumbai. But I think if we can educate them which one to inject, which one not to inject with a fundus photograph and also an OCT, which we have nowadays, I think it'll go a long way in eradicating this blindness.
Yeah, I think his suggestion, Dr. Lalit sir's suggestion is fantastic. That our Geo team, which is headed by you now, I think you are senior most of the VR guy here. We can make a chart sort of thing and post it to general ophthalmology. That's a fantastic idea. In fact, we are guided by Lalit sir like this right from the inception in 2018. Lalit sir, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Lalit. Thank you.
Thank you.